Salt Caravan and the Djinn of Balance. Welcome, listeners, to another story from our series, African Myths and Faith, stories for kids and adults. Today, we travel far into the Horn of Africa, to the vast, sun-baked lands of the Afar people. Picture endless deserts, shimmering heat waves, and the steady, patient rhythm of camel caravans moving slowly across the sands. Our tale is called Salt Caravan and the Djinn of Balance, a story about fairness, respect, and the invisible forces that keep the world in harmony. So who are the key characters in this story? First, there's Amina, a young Afar woman known for her wisdom and kindness. She comes from a long line of salt traders, people who have crossed the deserts for generations, carrying precious blocks of salt mine from the Danakil Depression, one of the hottest places on Earth. Salt wasn't just a seasoning or a way to preserve food. It was a treasure, a gift from the earth, and a bridge connecting distant villages and markets. Then we have Malik, Amina's older brother, a strong and steady caravan leader. He knows the desert like the back of his hand. He understands the importance of respecting the spirit said to watch over the desert, the Djinn. In Afar belief, the Djinn are powerful beings who maintain balance between people, nature, and the unseen world. They reward fairness and punish greed or disrespect. Our story takes place many years ago, at a time when the salt caravans were the lifeline of the region, moving slowly but surely across the desert. It was a dangerous journey with blazing heat, treacherous winds, and the constant need to manage resources carefully: water, food, and the strength of the camels. One day, as Amina and Malik prepared to lead their caravan across the desert, they heard a rumor from a nearby village. A Djinn had appeared near an ancient rest stop, an oasis where caravans traditionally stopped to rest, trade fairly, and honor the desert spirits. The Djinn was called the Djinn of Balance, and legend said it would test travelers to make sure they respected the rules of fairness before allowing them safe passage. You see, the caravans had a special way of honoring the desert spirits. They practiced fair trade, bartering goods with honesty and respect. They never tried to cheat or take more than they needed. And at the rest stops, they would pause, not just to eat and water their camels, but also to show gratitude to the desert itself. These stops were sacred, moments where balance was restored between people and land. Amina, curious and respectful, wanted to meet the Djinn of Balance herself. She believed that keeping harmony was the key not only to survival, but to thriving in this harsh landscape. So she convinced Melek to take a small group to the rest stop near the oasis. When they arrived, the heat was fierce, but the oasis was lush and cool. Here they met other traders from faraway places all ready to barter. Amina noticed how carefully everyone weighed their goods, how no one tried to trick another, and how people took turns resting and sharing stories. Suddenly, a shimmering figure appeared, the Djinn of Balance. It looked neither frightening nor grand, but calm and steady, as if it had always been part of the desert wind. The Djinn spoke to them in a voice like soft rustling sand. To honor the desert spirits, you must prove your fairness. I will offer you a challenge, a barter game. Each trader will offer something, and none may take more than they give. But there's a rule. Every time you trade, you must pause to rest, reflect, and share a story or a kindness before continuing. Amina smiled. This was a test of patience, respect, and honesty. The caravan traders began to trade salt for spices, cloth for dried fruits, and stories for laughter. Each pause brought them closer together. They learned about each other's lives, their dreams, and the challenges they faced. The game wasn't about winning or getting the best deal. It was about balance, fairness, and connection. Malik noticed how the camels too seemed calmer during these pauses, resting just enough to keep their strength without wasting energy. At the end of the day, the Djinn nodded with satisfaction. You have honored the spirits by trading fairly and resting wisely. The desert's balance is maintained. You may continue your journey. Before disappearing, the Djinn left them with a simple message. In life, as in the desert, balance and fairness guide the strongest paths. Take only what you need, give as much as you can, and always pause to rest and reflect. That is the way of harmony. As the caravan moved on, Amina thought about how this lesson applied not just to desert trade, but to everyday life. Whether sharing toys with friends, helping family, or working with neighbors, fairness and balance make relationships stronger. And taking time to rest and listen can be just as important as any action. So, dear listeners, the next time you find yourself rushing through a busy day, remember the salt caravans of the Afar people and the Djinn of balance. Try a little fairness in your dealings, and don't forget to pause, maybe even share a story or a smile before moving on. You might be surprised at how much better the journey feels. Thanks for joining me on this adventure through the desert and into the heart of an ancient myth. Until next time, keep your balance and your kindness in check. Goodbye for now.